Hello, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host. Just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona, and hopefully today with our bets and your bets, it's going to be another profitable day for you. NFL Week 8, we're going to do Sunday and Monday together as we only have one Monday night game coming up. We got a pretty full slate. Thursday was the Vikings didn't do as much favors, but the rest of the game, we had quite a bit of beats on Stafford throwing a pick, Aaron Jones getting, a bunch of rush attempts, JJ getting over reception. So, could have been better, could have been worse. But we'll get into the Sunday and Monday, and we got a lot to get to, so let's get started. Early window, 1 p.m. Eastern. Titans-Lions, let's get it started off. Lions at home, 11.5-point favorite. 45 total, kind of surprising here for the Lions, right? Titans can play run defense, I will say that. So I expect the Lions to have to throw the ball quite a bit to move the ball up and down the field like they have been. Titans don't pose much threat offensively, though. The Lions' run defense has been pretty good, so Rudolph's probably going to have to put the ball up a lot more than they would like to. Hopkins obviously out of Tennessee now. I don't know if that really hurts him too much. I don't know where Tennessee's going, and I don't think Tennessee knows where Tennessee's going, to be really honest with you. So, and this one here, just player props for us, but let's give you all those. Goff over 233.5 pass yards. Goff over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown over 72.5 receiving yards, over 22.5 yards longest reception, and an anytime touchdown. And then, of course, we got to throw in Mason Rudolph, to get an interception as well, right? So, as he got one last week for us as well. Next game up, Browns, Ravens. Browns at home, 8.5-point home dog, 45.5 total. Ravens have looked awesome the last few weeks, especially offensively. Even when Derrick Henry looks like he was going to be shut down, somehow he still ends up getting 150 yards. Ravens should be able to handle business here. You got Jameis Winston going for the Browns. The big chink for the Ravens is their pass defense. It's been god-awful all season long. They should get it somewhat straight here this week with the Browns and Jameis Winston. Winston's always good for a pick, but couldn't play it this week because it was over minus 200. But they should be able to slow down any Nick Chubb action. The question is, can they slow down anything in the pass game? Probably not a bunch, but they should slow it down somewhat. But we do like the Ravens quite a bit in this one. Ravens minus 2.5 in the first quarter, 4.5 in the first half, 8.5 for the game. Winston over 227.5 pass yards and over 35.5 in the pass attempts. I think once they figure out they can't run the ball, he's going to be pitching it all over the place. Lamar Jackson over 9.5 rush attempts, over 50.5 rush yards. Njoku over 52.5 receiving yards. And we do like the Browns over 16.5 team total this week as well. Next game up, Packers-Jaguars. Packers 4-point road favorite headed to Duval County in Jacksonville. Jacksonville gets another win. They had to go to London to get it, but they haven't. A lot of people are talking like Jags are going to get the upset this weekend. Maybe I'm blind squirrel here. If the Packers can clean up their turnovers, they're winning games by double digits instead of these games being close at all. And it's Jordan Love. Jordan Love has looked – he's a gunslinger. I understand that. He's kind of more Favre than Rodgers for sure, earlier in their careers. But he's just got to cut down – with all the weapons that they have, he cuts down those turnovers, and the Packers defense has played pretty solid. Packers should be winning things by double digits in this one. We like the Packers quite a bit. Packers minus 0.5 first quarter, minus 2.5 first half, and minus 3.5 for the game. Love, 2+ passing touchdowns is getting really juicy. One of our favorite plays of the weekend, though. And then Love, 3+ passing touchdowns. Evan Ingram, over 48.5 receiving yards. He's getting up there on reception, so we stayed away from there. We stay with the tight end theme. Tucker Kraft, over 3.5 receptions and over 35.5 receiving yards. And then Trevor Lawrence to throw a pick. Next game up, Texans-Colts in Houston. 5-point favorite here for the Texans. And Anthony Richardson still at quarterback for the Colts. Okay. How long is it going to take for them to figure out that he's not the answer either? Probably forever. That's a good thing, I think, for us on that one. But we love the Texans here. And when you normally see a 5 number, just for future reference, just take the favorite at the 5. Texans -0.5 first quarter, -3 first half, -5 for the game. Stroud over 240.5 passing yards. Anthony Richardson to throw a pick. Josh Downs can't catch a ball when Richardson's in there because, Richardson can't throw a short pass, so under 38.5 receiving yards. Mixon over 75.5 rush yards. We also sprinkle a little bit on Mixon, 96+ rush yards. Then Richardson over 7.5 rush attempts. Mixon, longest rush over 16.5 yards. Colts under 20.5 team total. I mean, Mixon did run for $150 on them basically already in Indy. I don't know if he's going to run for $150, but he should be touching the ball quite a bit, we assume, in that game against the Colts. Still with no Nico Collins. Next game up, Jets-Patriots. Patriots at home, 7-point home dog. I don't know how the Jets can be favored against 7 against anybody the way they've looked. That is a 3-ring circus if you've ever seen one before. Total at 41 in this game here. And we looked at this game. It's like, can we play this? We really like to play the Patriots, but their defense has been the question mark. I didn't think I'd ever probably say that about a Patriots team, but I don't know what I'm going to get defensively from them. So just player props for us in this one. Drake May over 208 pass yards. Rodgers over 234 pass yards because the Jets think they need to throw the ball all the time instead of run it. Rodgers throw a pick because he's been throwing a bunch. May's thrown one every game as well, so we'll play him to throw a pick as well. Hunter Henry's been hot. Over 32.5 receiving yards, over 3.5 receptions. Demario Douglas, hopefully he's not sick and ready to play in this one. Over 3.5 receptions, over 38.5 receiving yards. And Drake May over 22.5 rush yards. Next game up, Cardinals-Dolphins. Cardinals traveling the time zone here to play Miami. Tua is back. Line has moved. No surprise there. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle probably saying, thank you, Lord. We got somebody that can throw us the ball instead of us just blocking because we don't like to block as wide receivers. They want to catch the ball. They want to do dynamic things. I don't blame them. Do I think Tua should have came back? Yes. He was. If you really listen to Tua, he was actually probably going to be cleared if they didn't put him on the IR after a week. Yes, he's had multiple concussions. There's a lot of people that have had multiple concussions, though. Tua is not the only one. Oh, I'm surprised he's not wearing the Guardian helmet as it can't hurt. But, if the guy wants to play and he's medically cleared to play, let him play. Everybody get off of his rear end. Anyway, to get to the Cardinals part of this, they have not won back-to-back games since the middle of 2021. That's why they're coming off a win last week that they should have lost, but somehow the Chargers chargered again, even though Harbaugh's the coach. So we took the Dolphins here. Dolphins -0.5 first quarter, 2.5 first half, and 3.5 for the game. 2 over 251.5 pass yards. Kyler Murray under 215.5 pass yards. Marvin Harrison under 4.5 receptions. Him is the number 4 pick. We've said it almost every show, NFL show we've done before the draft. It was going to be a horrible number 4 pick, and it's basically lived up to expectations so far. Waddle over 4.5 receptions and over 51.5 receiving yards. Achane over 53.5 rush yards in that one. Achane looks totally different when he's running the ball with Tua. There seems to be a lot more, I don't know what you want to call it, outside zone, maybe easier or something, but he normally looks night and day difference in that one. Next game up, we're still in that 1 o'clock Eastern window. Eagles go to Cincy. And Cincy, even though being 3-4, 2.5-point home favorite here against the Eagles. So the one thing I will say, the Bengals pass offense is really good, and Eagles pass defense normally not so much. Now, on the opposite side, Eagles like to run it, and they should be able to run it, and Eagles will throw it, and they should be able to throw it. So, total at 47.5. We considered playing the over here, except we didn't want to sit in this game and have the Eagles deflate the ball. So, player props only for us in this one. Burrow over 257.5 pass yards. Burrow over 34.5 pass attempts. Burrow to throw a pick. A.J. Brown over 77.5 receiving yards since he came back. The last couple games he's been a monster. Jamar Chase over 75.5 receiving yards. Saquon over 75.5 rush yards. And then Jalen Carter who can be the best defensive tackle in the league if he decides to show up on a regular basis, over a quarter of a sack, and that was plus money on that one as well. Next game up, Falcons, Bucks. Last game of that 1 o'clock Eastern time frame. Shame what happened to the Bucks last week. Baker throwing a couple picks, but Godwin out for the season, and Evans, who knows how long he's going to be out. But obviously, you lose two tremendous wide receivers. What are you going to do this week, right? This is normally the week where that team kind of stands up a little bit, so we're a little nervous about playing the Falcons here, and they just got smashed by Seattle. I mean, they didn't get beat. They got smashed by 20 at home. Anyway, nothing but player props for us here, but we like what we've got. Cousins over 243.5 pass yards, as you can throw the ball all day against Tampa. Baker to throw a pick. Why not? Because he's doing it every week. Cousins over 33.5 pass attempts. Mooney over 48.5 receiving yards. Cade Otton should be the number one option basically for the Bucks. Over 4.5 receptions and over 44.5 receiving yards. Now we get to that 4 o'clock window. Bills, Seahawks to start this thing off. One of the most interesting lines, I think, of the weekend. The Bills, don't get me wrong, they've got an excellent record. But do we know what they are yet? They thought they were going to be a running team. Now all of a sudden they're throwing the ball again. They got Cooper. They can't run the ball extremely well unless Josh Allen's helping to run. He seems a little bit more hesitant than maybe normal. Seahawks come off a great game last week. They finally got healthy again, and they're getting 3 at home, and the Bills have to travel cross country. All right, you know what that means. Give us the Seahawks plus a half first quarter, plus 1.5 first half, plus 3 for the game. Geno over 242.5 pass yards. Walker over 62.5 rush yards. Amari Cooper gets his second week in the offense. We think that helps. Over 4.5 receptions, over 54.5 receiving yards. He was basically at these numbers last week on that one as well. And then no Metcalf, so Jackson Smith and Jigba over 50.5 receiving yards. Next game up in that 4 o'clock window as well. Saints, Chargers. You want to talk about the Boar Fest of the day. Chargers at home, 7-point home favorite, 41 total. Spencer Rattler supposed to be at quarterback again. Why? Might be the best question on earth. Don't know why. Why? I mean, okay. Chargers last week absolutely just shit the bed. That was an easy win sitting there against the Cardinals. They couldn't figure it out. Only 2 player props for this one. It's really limited. We don't like this game at all, to be really honest. Rattler to throw a pick, and then Alvin Kamara over 12.5 rush attempts. Next game up, Chiefs, Raiders in Vegas. The line was at 10. It's down to 9.5 here. Chiefs is a favorite. I know everybody's tired of the Chiefs, but they just keep winning games. Only undefeated team left in football. Raiders did hand them a loss last year, but this ain't the same Raiders team. Let's be honest with you here. They can't run the ball at all. Now, defensively, they've played pretty well. But offense, they can't seem to generate anything. You're going against the best defense league against the Chiefs here. 41.5 total. This could be an under game for sure. We stayed away from Cider total. A bunch of player props for us in this one. Mahomes to throw a pick because he has in every game so far this season. 6 touchdowns and 8 picks is what's on the board right now currently for Mahomes. It's ugly. He's not throwing any touchdown passes, but they are scoring. So Hopkins, the new addition for the Chiefs from the Titans, over 36.5 receiving yards. Noah Gray over 22.5 receiving yards. Kareem Hunt, who's been fantastic his couple games back, over 66.5 rush yards and an anytime touchdown. Next game up, the next snooze fest of the day. It's called Panthers Broncos. Andy Dalton gets a car accident with him and his family. Hopefully everybody's okay there. We don't want anybody to get hurt like that. That's for sure. Facing the Broncos and Bo Nix. This schedule for the Broncos is making them look really good. I will say this, though. The Broncos' defense seems to be for real. Even without Surtain for a couple weeks, they still seem to be for real. Broncos are favored by 11 points. Really? Isn't Bo Nix the guy we've seen where they scored 10 points and he threw for 60 yards? Okay, whatever. We can't play a side in this one because I can't back Bryce Young. Can't play a side on the Broncos because it's Bo Nix. But 3 of our biggest bets of the weekend are in this game. Javonte Williams, over 62.5 rush yards is our biggest play of Sunday and Monday. Williams over 13.5 rush attempts. And once again, the book has been nice enough to keep Javonte Williams at 2.5 receptions, so over there as well. Also, Villamore over Velum, sorry, I can't pronounce his name, over 2.5 receptions. Now, next game up after that should be an interesting one here. Bears Commanders. Bears on the road, 3-point favorites. Supposedly Jaden Daniels is going to try to play. Come on, he's hurt. Bears 3-point favorite on the road. Commanders have been smoking hot. Bears have been smoking hot as of late. Supposed to be the number 1, number 2 pick showdown type of thing. Probably not going to see that. If Marcus Mariota's in here, the Bears got a chance to run away with this. And Bears are still alive if Daniels plays. But we do like quite a bit in this particular game here. Bears -0.5 first quarter, -1.5 first half, -3 for the game. Caleb over 227.5 pass yards. DJ Moore over 56.5 receiving yards. Swift over 56.5 rush yards. And then we'll take Brian Robinson Jr. over 53.5 rush yards as well. Now we get to the Sunday night game. Cowboys, 49ers. Lines moved to 4 in Santa Clara, 47-point total. I don't know if anybody really knows what to expect out of either one of these teams. Dallas, which is normally good at home, all of a sudden sucks at home, and they've been decent on the road. But their road games that they've won have not been against great opponents. The 49ers do not look like the 49ers. Brandon Ayuk, obviously, he's gone for the season. We don't know who's going to play between Juwan Jennings, Debo. We know Kittle's playing. No McCaffrey still, and we're 8 weeks in. When we got told this damn injury was day-to-day, and we're 8 weeks in, and McCaffrey's still not going to play. Maybe he comes back week 10? Really? Thank you to Shanahan, the 49ers organization, for everybody that took McCaffrey as the number 1 pick in their fantasy draft that got absolutely hosed. Day-to-day has been 8+ weeks. Thank you. Very little. Anyway, the only thing we can really base this off of what has happened in previous seasons, and that is the 49ers have smacked the living shit out of the Cowboys. The Cowboys still have no run game, still can't stop the run. That hasn't changed, and I don't think it's going to change. So we're all over the 49ers here. -0.5 first quarter, 1.5 first half, 3.5 for the game. Prescott over 243.5 pass yards because they're not going to be able to run the ball. If they're going to move the ball at all, he's going to have to throw it. Over 34.5 pass attempts. And then our favorite plays for these two knucklehead quarterbacks, Prescott and Purdy, both throw an interception. Ferguson over 38.5 receiving yards, and Kittle over 54.5 receiving yards in that one as well. Now we get to the Monday night game. And I've heard people on this, it's Giants Steelers in Pittsburgh, 6-point home favorite for Pitt, 36.5 total. I mean, the strength of the Giants offense is probably going to be throwing the ball. That's the strength of the Steelers defense. When you get pass rush, and their secondary is pretty solid as well. They play well in coverage. They don't run the ball well, and that's the Steelers, probably their chink in the armor on the defensive side of the ball, even though that defense has played awesome. And the Giants play overall pretty decent defense. Second week of Russell Wilson had a first quarter was a little shaky. Second quarter started to get better, and second half was terrific last week. Does he continue it? We think so. Steelers -0.5 in the first quarter, -3.5 first half, -5.5 for the game. Russell Wilson over 199.5 pass yards. Pickens over 4.5 receptions and over 58.5 receiving yards. Obviously, Pickens had a monster last week with Wilson. We just need about half of that, and we'll cover both of those bets there. All right, so we just went through a ton of bets. How do we get a chance to take a look at all those bets? No problem at all. We've got them posted in multiple spots online, TikTok and YouTube channel pages as well. At the end of every episode on YouTube is the link to our Google Sheets, which is our betting ledger. It is docs.google.com/spreadsheet, bunch of other stuff behind it. Click on that link, and then you're going to want to pick the tab Football 24-25. Then scroll down to NFL Week 8. You'll be able to see all of the bets that we made, what juice we got those at, how many units we wagered, what book we placed them at. Then obviously once everything's over, you get to see the results. Do you like the content that you're seeing here and want to see more? Hit follow or subscribe depending on the social media platform you're watching us on. and will show up in your follower subscriptions tab, or make life simple for yourself and just turn the notifications on for that social media platform. Once you follow or subscribe, and you get a notification letting you know Sports Bets for Free has dropped a new episode of Bets. Also, private Discord channel available. Yes, it's a few bucks a month. It's not much. Might as well. Everybody needs help making money at doing a lot of different things. Why would you not help support the show and help yourself make some money and enjoy sports wagering even more? Subscribe to us through TikTok at Sports Bets for Free. Then we'll send you the invite link to the Discord channel where you can ask questions, get all the lines ahead of time. For the NFL, you guys the Discord channel has had these bets for multiple days already before we put the episode out for the public. So well worth your time by doing so. You're going to save money, make money. It's cheaper than Netflix. Why not get a part of the group? Also, we have lots of promo bonus bets to give away from our partners to you, online casinos, sports books, and fantasy sites as well, depending on the state that you're in. It's all, you can find that link also on our TikTok and YouTube channel pages. It's bit.ly/sportsbets for free -bh. Click that link, and then you'll find all the available offers that we have for you in the state that you're in. We do appreciate everybody's support as always, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.